when you are crossways of the frequency of what you want, then hammering at it, trying to go specifically positive when you have just been feeling specifically negative, makes you dig in defiance and defense and justification and rationalization of where you are. And when you do that, you just practice the vibration that you didn't mean to practice, you see. So what is it? Is there something specific that you want to talk about?
In relationships, why is it that sometimes the less interest you show in someone, the more they're attracted to you, and the less more interest you show in someone? Is that the simplest form?
This is exactly what we're talking about. Because in your lack of interest, you are less specifically pushing them away. In other words, because you already don't believe in the viability of the relationship. And so the more you try to believe it from not believing it, the more you give off the signal that pushes it away. But when you're not interested, when you really don't care, now you're not offering that signal, and then what you really want begins to flock to you.
Ah, okay.
It's exactly the point that we were making with the cards. The harder you try when you're not in vibrational frequency sync with what you want, the worse it goes. Interesting. When we talk about deliberate creation, feels counterintuitive to some of you, doesn't it? It's like, I should try harder. And we say, no, you should give it up. You should let go. But it comes back to what we were saying earlier, that the process of creation is 3 steps. Ask. You've already done that. Answer. Source has already done that. It is a vibrational done deal. Now your work is to do anything and everything you can to relax into, to allow, to let be, to surrender into. And the harder you try to be specific when you don't have the answers, when you don't know where, when, who, how, where. In other words, when you don't have the answers to that, then the more you hold yourself in the frequency that defies it.
That's why the more I dream and the less I give a heck about it, it seems to come.
Well,
I dream and it's, if I let it go.
But imagine how delicious it could be to want something that isn't painful, to want it even though it hasn't come, to want it with the general knowledge that it will someday be there, and to be satisfied with that general knowledge that it will someday be there until you allow the specifics of it to begin to show themselves to you. So there's a difference between just saying, I don't want those grapes because they're sour anyway.
Yeah.
There's a difference between saying, I don't want it, because the truth of it is, you do want it. You do want it. You can't give up on your dreams. And to say you're not dreaming those dreams anymore is not accurate at all. You cannot cease to want what you want, but you can choose your vibrational position to it by railing against the absence of it or by surrendering to the presence of it. And what you're talking about is part of that process. In other words, it's part of the letting go of the details of it.
Exactly, yeah.
Perfect words that you've offered, yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Something more?
No.